Hello friends, welcome to the 17th edition of Trade-Offs and Triumphs, my weekly newsletter. This edition is about Thanksgiving. To those who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, and please stay safe and healthy if you're required to travel and to work. So let's think about all the things that we should be grateful for. Lots of food, lots of desserts. You should definitely check out Charlie Bleeker's recipe for the best chocolate chip cookies forever. And how can anything go bad when you can put Godiva chocolate chips in them? And let's also think about the people that we're gathered around with. It's the perfect time to perfect that perfect intro you've always meant to do. Check out Julia Saxena's blog entry about how to have the perfect introduction. She has a 3-step process, and follow those through. Think about active verbs and what you help others to do, because it's not about you. And speaking of perfect intros, do you remember when you first graduated to the adult table from the kids table? Last night on PBS, a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving just aired, and it's one of my annual traditions to watch it thoroughly and to see something different. I remember graduating to the adult table and thinking, this is not so great. It was boring, it was pretentious, and I actually had to mind my elbows and my P's and Q's. Whereas at the kids' table, if she thought you were ugly, you were ugly. If you wanted to punch your cousin in the arm, you just did so. Don't let the world control who you are. Don't hide behind who the world wants you to be. This moment is really important, especially now in COVID, as we re-examine all the normals and create our new normals. And if you need help chiseling and tightening, definitely check out 3010 and find your stories that propel you forward and keep you back. And finally, last but not least, it's important to remember that we should call each other in and not just call each other out. There's a professor at Smith College who's doing some terrific work and distinguishing between calling in and calling each other out. While it's great to communicate in public, build in public, it's also important to have private conversations that build the foundations of strong relationships, to build a healthy sense of trust, and to be able to respectfully disagree. We've just gone through a very difficult election, and now is the time to take a deep breath, control our emotions, and really think about what's really important to us. Do we really need to yell at each other across the table to make our points clear? Or should we just sit there and listen and try to get into their world and understand their world, and not just assume that because they do not share our views, that they are narrow-minded? Lessons that I've had to learn throughout this year and constantly remind myself as well. So think about the trade-offs you make in your life constantly, and think about where you can find common ground, because finding that common ground with others will lead to the triumphs of your life and redefining, chiseling, and tightening your stories that propel you as well as hold you back. Thank you for reading this edition of Trade-Offs and Triumphs, and tune in next week for another edition. And again, happy Thanksgiving, and let's spread the gratitude to those who can, to those who are, and not forget those who may not be able to share in the same bounty that we do today.